good afternoon, my name is Professor Deborah Blackman. I'm the head of school of the School of Business at UNSW, and I'm going to talk to you today about the Bachelor of Business and explain to you why we think you should study with us. So about the school, we are one of 4 schools, as you probably know, at UNSW Canberra, and we are looking at the business of defence, the idea of how large it is, how we manage it, the fact that its majority is made up of people, and how we lead and manage those people will be crucial to the way the defence functions. So why study business? Well, business and management are critical to our everyday lives. In particular, in Australia, defence is big business. As you can see on the screen, it's $38.7 billion budget in 2019 to 20, and it's going to go up to $175.8 billion in 22 to 23. And a lot of that is obviously great bits of kit, like you can see with the helicopters. But actually the largest single thing that we pay for is the people. And managing those people and making sure that the right people are in the right place at the right time is a critical part of defence. Now, so why this actual school? You can see our mission is on the screen, and we want to create and disseminate applied business knowledge. And it's that application that's really important to us. So there's a lot of people doing research within the school, and we're looking for how can we use that research, which is into the implementation of change, into leadership, into a whole range of different topics, to make sure that we can actually support defence and other parts of the public sector as well, to do their job better. And that's what we plan to do. So we say that we want to be recognised globally as a leading research-intensive business, renowned for its students and staff. And as an example of that, we have a really core set of logistics researchers who are working with defence at the moment to work out how to make sure that they can integrate large data sets and enable them to do much better, much faster placement of people, machinery and everything else where they need it all of the time. And that's what we mean about being applied in a way that supports defence. And so we have to be research intensive, we have to be innovative, and so we work alongside with cyber. And I think one of the things that's really useful for you to understand is that we don't necessarily just research inside our own spaces, but that we work with other parts of the organisation, whether it's cyber, whether it's science, in order to make sure that we can rebuild knowledge in ways that is useful for defence and a wide range of other contexts as well. Why do a Bachelor of Business degree from UNSW Canberra? Well, as you can see here, it prepares students for the ADF career because it helps you develop key business skills and key management skills. We have world-class academic expertise, and the key thing here is it's not just in some of the obvious areas to do with accounting, which you might expect, but also strategy, leadership, and other areas which are going to support you as you develop your skills as supervisors and eventually leaders inside your chosen profession. We don't have, and I'm answering a question now because it's the one that always comes up in Q&A later, so I'm going to answer it now. We don't have a range of majors and minors. We have one core course, which I'll show you shortly. But within it, there's a very diverse range of electives, which enables students to gain knowledge in areas, and you can see on the screen, includes economics, accounting, management and human resources, illicit business, project management and logistics. This enables students to build a solid core of fundamental business knowledge. So who is our team? Well, of course, obviously, first of all, our undergraduate students, of which we have usually about 200 every year. We have in the region of 500 postgraduate students, which surprises a lot of people that we have so many. They're all online, and many of them are for defence, and we are hopeful that in a few years' time, when you've successfully finished your business degree, you'll actually come back and do some masters with us. We also have about 50 research degree candidates, and they work in a whole range of different topics with our academics, looking again into cutting edge research in areas such as logistics, project management, human resources and so forth. And we have approximately 35 academic staff supporting all of our students, and then we also have a lot of specialist people who come in as well to support them, to be visiting speakers, to help present these very specific parts of our curriculum. So we end up with about 50 people interacting with students every year, but about 33 academic staff all the time. So what do we actually teach? So we have 3 main undergraduate programs. The biggest of these by far is the Bachelor of Business. And this is our core course that I'll show you in just a moment. It's a 3-year course, and that's has some prescribed, many electives, and that's the majority of our students do that course. We also have Bachelor of Business Chief of Defence Force, and I'll explain what that is in a moment. We have a Bachelor of Arts. There's a business major within the arts. We have quite a lot of students who do business through their arts degree. If you're thinking you want to something a bit more mixed, that might be the way to go. And then obviously there's lots of business electives that you can pick up from any of the other degrees. So we have students from science and from engineering who come and do some of our electives. So I said I'd explain about the Chief of Defence Force for the Bachelor of Business. This is for people who've got a really good ATAR. It's usually no less than 95. You have to maintain a WAM, which is your weighted average mark of 80% throughout the programme. So it's only for people who are working very high and getting distinctions all the way through. The idea of it is that you do a particular research project and you are supervised by somebody within the school who has an interest to support you in that area, and it can be in anything. We've got students who are looking at the role of mentoring of the cadets, we've got people looking at project management issues and how they could change the way that they think project management is being done within defence, so a whole range of different topics. It is an ideal way of thinking about how you might prepare yourself for research in the future. So what are the main aims of a Bachelor of Business? Well, as you would expect, it's to enhance business acumen for future leaders and managers in the Australian Defence Force organisation. We're trying to make sure that you have solid foundations in communication, numeracy and general problem solving. And that's core across all of the different subjects that you do. And one of the things I want to say right now is that our course is part of the AACSB programme that also works at Kensington. And for those of you who know about business courses, you will know that that's the premier accreditation body across the world. And one of the things that they're very keen on is that the core business skills are throughout all of the courses, and that the primary function is about problem solving. That's not to say that the knowledge is not important, but it's the application of knowledge and knowing what to do with it that becomes critical. As a result, we focus on core business capabilities, noting the diversity of knowledge and skills which need to come together. And one of the issues about business is it's multidisciplinary. And as a result, we have to teach you how to integrate those different disciplines to come up with different answers. And that can be part of the challenge, particularly when you get to the third year, when we'll do work integrated learning and you have to work out which bits of the curriculum do you put with other bits of the curriculum to make sure that you come up with pertinent advice for the people you're talking to. So this is the Bachelor of Business as it looks at the moment, as you see, 3 years. And you've got core courses, those are the ones in pink. And the idea is in the first semester you do 4 of those, so you get an idea of what's going on and you understand all the knowledge that underpins everything else that you do. You also then get the opportunity in your first year to learn about some non-business areas, and particularly the reason for doing that is to make sure that if you do want to do an arts major, you might want to swap, you might want to do what actually ends up being a bit of a minor through the business course. To be able to do that, we give you that flexibility in your first semester. Second year, you've got core courses. We're looking at law, data, leadership, all the things that underpin all of your business knowledge. And then you've got a whole range of electives that you can choose to pick up. You've also got some general electives, and I'll talk about those in just a minute. By the time you get to final year, we're looking at logistics, which is core, and as you can imagine, we think that's an incredibly critical part of your knowledge for defence. And you have business capstone, and what that does, as the name says, is it brings everything together and asks you to apply it in different ways. And then again, a range of electives for you to decide what you're interested in. One of the things that we've found with our students as they've gone through is they always like to try and think about what their electives should be right from the beginning, so they can start to see a path. And many times you can start to pick up an area that you're interested in and apply it through different parts of your curriculum, applying it through different assignments. So it's often useful to think about what is really pertinent for where I want to be, not just in Navy or Air Force or Army, but where do I want to be as I'm moving forward as part of that. If you are thinking of doing a business major through the arts degree, you'll see the topics are very similar, but there you go. You've got one of the following is core in first year, and then you've got some other courses that you go through. One of the things I've already said is the idea of transfer. One thing that worries students, and I'm sure this will also come up in the Q&As across all of the different schools, is that if I've made the wrong choice at the beginning, what do I do? And the answer is that particularly across arts and business, actually you can swap quite easily between the two for the first couple of years. Now, I'm not saying we'd like you to do that, but it's always a possibility that you can. And it's important for you to know that you have that flexibility. What is useful, and of course this is a long time off for you to worry about yet, is to make sure you always think carefully and talk to your advisors about the courses you take so that you've always preserved all those choices that you want. So in summary, let's think about what I've just told you about key information for studying for Bachelor of Business at UNSW Canberra. So it's 3 years to complete a BBUS at UNSW Canberra, and that is 144 units of credit per degree. The reason I'm telling you that is some of you will come in with credit. So sometimes you've done early courses at school, some people are transferring from a different university. So you can get credit and we support you in that, and you can apply in the same way as you would at any other university. And obviously if you do come with credit, if you're listening knowing that you're going to have, then bear in mind that yes, we will take that providing it's relevant, and obviously that's the kind of thing you might want to talk to us about in Q&A. It is 48 units of credit per year, so it's an even split throughout the year, and it's 4 core courses in year 1, 4 core courses plus business electives and general electives in year 2, and 2 cores plus 4 business electives and a free or prescribed course in the final year. And we do encourage people to do things in that order. The reality is you can change it, and we talk to you about it, but history relates it works best if you keep in the order that we've suggested. We've talked about electives, and we talked about 2 general education courses, which are usually taken at the 2nd or 3rd year. These are courses which ADFA have asked us to do because they think they're important for students. And you can see you've got Introduction to Strategic Studies or Strategic Management and Leadership. And then you've got Law, Force and Legitimacy or Introduction to Military Ethics. And everybody does cyber, not surprisingly in this day and age. You would be very surprised if I told you you weren't going to do cyber as part of your degree somewhere. So one of the things that some of our students say to us is, do I need to do strategic management and leadership if I've already done leadership? And the answer is, of course, you don't. Do strategic studies. But having said that, they are quite different with a different focus. So it's up to you as and when you get here to make those kind of decisions. So what are the entry requirements for the Bachelor of Business? So for 2020, we'll be looking at an ATAR of 80 for business, an OP of 1 to 10, and an IB of 28. It changes a little bit year on year, but not very much. Arts is slightly lower, and that's because the general program has a slightly lower level of entry. However, let me stress, this is the minimum level of entry, and very few of our students have a minimum level. In fact, at the moment, our average ATAR in our business degree is over 93. So partly this is because of the way the applications work, and we'll talk a little tiny bit about that, but just bear in mind that this is the minimum and it's definitely not to be targeted. If you are interested in doing the CDF program, you'll see that the ATAR is 95, OP is 1 to 4, and the International Baccalaureate is 36. So again, those are fixed and we don't go below those. Now, I'm not going to go through how to apply because that's all done through Defence Force Recruiting, as you know, and it's much better to talk to them. There's going to be a presentation around that, I know, on part of Open Day, because they will explain to you how you get the extra points, what happens, all of the things that you need to do to be part of Defence Force Recruiting. But I'm stressing now, we don't have any civilian students. That's a question I get quite often in the Q&A. We only have Defence Force students, and so you have to go through recruiting. And so this is how to contact us. We've got the School of Business. The general email is b.studentadmin@adfa.edu.au, or we've got the Student Administrative Services there as well. Please ask us any questions, but before that we're going to have a Q&A where you can ask me and my colleagues anything you really want to know. Thank you very much for your time.